Councilmember Encinas,
Here.
Councilmember Ellis,
Present.
Councilmember Stewart,
Here.
Councilmember Orlando,
Here.
Councilmember Poston.
Here.
You have
All right. Council member or vice mayor is in DC right now with a special invitation. So he had to choose. Should he come to council or should he go to DC on a special invitation? So good for him. All right. Next on our agenda tonight is scheduled public appearances and service recognitions. And Councilmember Encinas, please join me up front. All right, city manager, we have 2 service recognitions. Please lead us.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council. To make the first of those 2 service recognition presentations, I'd like to ask John Knutson, our Public Works and Utilities Director, come forward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'd like to ask Mario Munguia to please come down to receive his 20-year award. Mauro began his career with the city in 2004 as a recreation leader in the Parks Department. Soon after joining the city, Mauro took on grounds maintenance worker position, and this is where he really made a difference. Mauro showed great interest in his new job, learning all that he could, and in the years to come, advanced through several positions to become a senior maintenance technician. Over those years, the entire maintenance team learned to rely on Mauro as a dependable part of the Parks team, always ready and willing to take on any task asked of him. In his time with Parks, he became a trustworthy and important team member and a great mentor to anyone willing to listen. Then in February of 2024, Mauro once again took on an advancement to a new role as a senior landscape technician with the Streets Division, where he works with our landscape contractors to keep Chandler's right-of-way landscape looking great. Congratulations, Mauro, on 20 years with the City of Chandler, keeping it beautiful. Thank you.
Mayor and Council, for our second and final service recognition, I'd like to ask our Chief of Police, Brian Chapman, to come forward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We are honored to recognize Sergeant Dan McQuillan for his 25 years of exemplary service. Sergeant McQuillan has his own fan base here tonight, as you can hear. He embodies honor and selflessness, serving our community with unwavering dedication and commitment to ethical values. He has served in patrol, motors, SWAT, the bike unit, PSS, and the Honor Guard throughout his distinguished career. He's imparted invaluable knowledge to his colleagues as an instructor in defensive tactics, high-risk vehicle stops, and firearms. Beyond his professional achievements, Sergeant McQuillan is a devoted family man. He's been married to his wife, Jamie, for 26 years and is a proud father of 10 children. And a grandchild. He also dedicates his time to volunteering as a Little League coach and board member, further exemplifying his commitment to service. Congratulations, Sergeant McQuillan, and thank you for your remarkable dedication and service.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, that concludes our employee service recognitions this evening. Thank you.
All right, so I have to ask, we'll start with Mauro. Mauro, how many are here with your family? Please stand. De pie, por favor. Very good. Thank you. All right, now I see this number going to expand. If you're here with Dan, how many is here with him? Standing. You're all part of Team Chandler. All right, next we have a proclamation, NXP Innovation Month. So if we could have representatives from NXP come on up, join us here in front. The row with suits in it. Hello, good to see you. All right. Whereas the city of Chandler celebrates NXP Semiconductor's Chandler Fab 30th anniversary of wafer manufacturing operations in Chandler this month. And whereas NXP is a global company and trusted partner for innovative solutions in the automotive, industrial, IoT, mobile, and communications infrastructure markets. NXP owns and operates 4 wafer fabrication facilities in the US. 2 of those fabs are located in Chandler. And whereas NXP brings together bright minds to create breakthrough technologies that make the connected world better, safer, and more secure. And whereas NXP's diverse and talented team members are committed to giving back to the Chandler community. Team members volunteer with the city through our annual For Our City Day and also honor Cesar Chavez's legacy with a community cleanup each year. And whereas NXP recognizes the need for a talented workforce and supports the city and Chandler Unified School District's annual Chandler Innovation Fair to educate and inspire the next generation of workers. I'm at my final whereas. And whereas we invite the entire city to congratulate NXP for their 30 years of semiconductor wafer manufacturing in Chandler. We look forward to our continued partnership as they enable a better, safer, more secure, and more sustainable world through innovation. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Hartke, Mayor of the City of Chandler, Arizona, do hereby proclaim June 2024 as NXP Innovation Month. Woohoo! All right, and who would like to say something with NXP?
Yeah, so thank you, Mayor. When we started this planning for our 30-year anniversary, we thought, Lisa mentioned we should reach out to the city. We thought maybe we'd get a nice note from you that we could put up on our wall. And here we are, June being, NXP Innovation Month. So I think it's a great sign of the partnership that we have with the city. And, we really appreciate all that you do for us and that the great partnership that we have together. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you. Well, let's have a photo. So we usually sometimes ask our employees if they're on their 20th, will you give us 20 more years? So can we ask for 50 more years of NXP in Chandler?
Yeah, we would certainly like that as well. So
All right.
that's okay.
This way. We've got a second row critic wanting us to do it.
Thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Look forward to continuing the celebration. Council, I'm really excited about our next 2 announcements because they really engage our youth in our community for doing incredible things. So next, I'm excited to recognize the Degrees of Freedom robotics team who recently competed in the first Robotics World Competition Championship, along with 600 other teams from 14 countries from around the world. We should bring you guys up as I continue to read this, right? All right. Come on up. All right, this is better. Degrees of Freedom earned the top award, the Engineering Inspiration Award, which is given to the team that best embodies respect and appreciation for engineering with the team's school or organization and community. Degrees of Freedom is based out of the Si Se Puede Foundation STEM Center and is composed of 25 high school students from 10 different local schools in the Chandler area. It's amazing to see so many of our Chandler students come together to advance and invest in their STEM education. And NXP folks, you should be looking at these kids. That's what we got to say. So we want to say congratulations to you all. And would someone like to tell us about the recent competition? Freddie, who would that be?
All right, thank you everyone. Good evening. My name is Dan Frank. I'm a professor at ASU, and I have the privilege of also being one of the head mentors for these incredible young women and men. Degrees of Freedom, as the mayor mentioned, is a community robotics team, and they have been gradually getting better and better with their robot. They actually just won their competition a couple weeks ago. The first competition since they got back from the championship. But what's remarkable is not the fact that they're able to win these competitions, but is how they win, right? It's more than just the robot. They're active in the community. They're at the Chandler Innovation Fair. They just got back from the AZ Science Center. They're sending care packages to Solterra Senior Living. They're helping to spread mental awareness of imposter syndrome. They've helped over 50 teams from 7 different states and 3 different countries. One of the teams that they helped start in Ghana just recently won their national championship. So they're proving that they're not just, an incredible team locally or even in the state, but they're actually getting recognition at the national and even international level. So it's incredible what they're doing. And we have a team cheer that kind of embodies what it means to be part of this team. Wings Up, which is their call to attention. It shows that they are ready to, engage the world and be a positive force. Hearts Out. It takes courage to be part of engineering because of social, financial, and language barriers. And then Reach High. And it's the idea that we are going to be continually trying to improve, not just for ourselves, but as a community. And so I'm going to let Josue lead us in our cheer.
Wings up, hearts out, reach high, degrees of freedom.
All right, let's take a photo. Tell us what to do. 2 rows staggered. All right. If other people think you are shorter, be in the front. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Degrees of Freedom. Congratulations. And our last recognition tonight has to do with the Chandler Huskies women lacrosse team. If we can have up the Huskies, come on up here. This accomplished group of students who are here with us tonight, the Chandler Huskies women lacrosse team. In 2023, the team made history by advancing to the state championship for the first time. While Higley High School narrowly clinched the title, our Chandler Huskies came back, even stronger and claimed the 2024 Lacrosse State Championship. They are now, get this, the number 9 ranked public school in the West region by the U.S. Lacrosse Magazine. Let's give these powerful, wonderful ladies a big round of applause. And do we have a spokesperson here that would like to tell us about your team? All right.
I am the coach for the Chandler Huskies. So we didn't get to get everyone out here tonight, but we got a lot of our girls, which was awesome. Just wanted to say they worked really, really hard this season. They got second in state last year. It was their goal all year to become the state championship for this year. They worked hard every practice for hours on end and came through, went undefeated the whole season, didn't lose one game, and came down in the last minute, and we won by 1 point in the last 3 minutes, I want to say. So you guys worked hard till the very end and earned every minute of it. So nice job.
Way to go.
And Dana, didn't you say we have one proud city employee here too? Who was that again?
Yeah. Jessica Sweet in our office, her daughter, Michaela, plays for the team.
All right. Congratulations, Chandler. You make us proud. Thank you. All right. These guys set records. It's different than a records clerk. So.
Well done. Well done.
All right, Council. We've had a few items that have been called in tonight for presentations or comments. The first is item number 5 on CUSD IGA, asking for staff presentation from the one, the only John Sefton.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Actually, there are a couple of us.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
There's a few John Seftons. Got a nephew named John. So item number 5, Mambo number 5, this week's agenda is an intergovernmental agreement with the famous Chandler Unified School District. While certainly a good news item, it really is a simple administrative and functional agreement. To make the pieces of an IGA come together, it really does take a team, and I want to certainly recognize our assistant city managers, the leadership team at CUSD, and our respective city attorneys' offices. While I wish I could say that this concept was groundbreaking, trailblazing, trend-setting, that I or Andy Bass came up with, the fact is that we have documentation that goes all the way back to the 1970s, where the city and CUSD have been working together in this function. So fundamentally, the IGA is an overarching intention of collaboration and operational efficiencies. Administratively, both parties will forego the exchange of certain general fund fees, where permissible by law, of course. For example, the rental fees for school cafegimatoriums or classrooms, or for our parks and recreation facilities or our pools, as well as the permit and inspection fees for the building projects that are within the city as well. So additionally, we recognize each other as a priority partner in our scheduling and the scheduling of our shared facilities and our recreational amenities. And we have included a function of an administrative scope of work outlining any new potential collaborations or projects where the city manager and the district superintendent would be the approvers, of course, with an eye on efficiencies. This draft holds a 5-year term with renewable 5-year periods upon the governing body approvals. And with that, Mayor and Council, I'll certainly do my best to answer any questions.
Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. This was amazing. Appreciate you giving us all the background of this whole thing. I was going to ask a question about how many years have we really been working with CUSD, but you already answered that question. But my question going forward right now that we have this in place, I realize that it had not been something that we had, but it was not in writing for so many years. And we had to go back and make sure that we have it now in writing. So the contract is literally for the 5 years. How are we going to let the people of Chandler know that we have this type of relationship? Because I know sometimes they don't know how to access it, or if they wanted to have a tournament or something's happening and we can't accommodate them. How do we give them that information?
Mayor, Councilmember Ellis, it's a great question. We really do work with all of our partners already scheduling. As you mentioned, this is something that we already have into practice. We utilize the fields that we've put lights on, like at Bogle and Anderson Junior High. Those groups already know to come to us or to come to the schools as well. This IGA is really a formalization of what's been in practice for a very long time. And from a scheduling standpoint, it also defines that we are second in priority to each other and really is a good opportunity for us to get that word out. The board will see this on Wednesday night as well.
All right. Well, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. Thank you, John.
Council, any additional questions? Seeing none. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Actually, don't go anywhere.
I'm not.
Item number 6, also called in by Councilmember Ellis with Brooks Crossing Park, presentation on the planned improvements and the neighborhood input that went into that.
Absolutely. And I have a picture to show. If I can get that in place there. So Brooks Crossing Park for this week's agenda is actually items 4 and 6. So a construction management and a construction of the improvements at Brooks Crossing Park. Brooks Crossing is an 8.1 acre neighborhood park located at 1345 West Calle del Norte Street. The park serves the recreational needs of our residents in the square mile bordered between Warner and Ray and Alma School and Dobson. The park was originally developed in 1986. Existing amenities include a shaded playground, open space turf, sand volleyball court, basketball court, lighted walking paths, picnic areas, and of course, landscaping. As with all City of Chandler Park development projects, public input plays an important role in assuming and assuring that the ideas, the issues, and the concerns of our Chandler citizens are heard. On May 5th, 2022, a couple of years ago, a virtual public presentation was published to receive input on what improvements the residents would like to see at the park. In addition to this presentation, the residents were asked to fill out a survey. In that survey, over 145 resident and park users completed the survey, with 73% of those, just over 100, indicated that they visit the park weekly or more times per week. The residents expressed the desire for improving the following areas. They wanted better playground equipment, of course, additional shade, outdoor exercise equipment, updated site furnishings, as well as like the chilled drinking fountains, and then other areas too, like a sport court. Imagine pickleball on a survey. Of course, we heard that loud and clear. Some of the other areas in this project that we'll also be focusing on is irrigation repairs that nobody will see, improvements to the turf, so hopefully they will be able to see that, park lighting upgrade to the LED, most efficiencies, some xeriscape conversion from turf to xeriscape, as well as a number of ADA improvements. On a second round from this plan that the residents gave, on August 30th of 2022, we sent out a second, sort of 2 different layouts for the park. And they again gave a little vote or nod to that community feedback that did indeed reaffirm the interest in a pickleball court. So we'll add a single pickleball court to that location. Overall, the input received both presentations was very positive and very much supportive. The improvement master plan was endorsed by the Parks and Recreation Board on November 4th, 2022. And the agenda item, as I mentioned earlier, items 4 and 6 are both related. We do expect the project to start late summer, July, August. Contract duration is 210 days, and the project completion will shoot for that January, February of 2025. With that, I'll do my best for any other questions.
Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. It's the cost that I wanted to talk about a bit, because I know that we had that in the plan, and previously it was not that much. So can you talk a little bit about why it went up to $1.9 million?
Correct. And Much thanks to our leadership team as well as you in supporting the CIP budget. This is something that the staff have been able to organize and present in a way that we are accomplishing that significant increase. We're seeing that across the board with a lot of our projects. Again, the management services team and city leadership has done a great job at balancing this and affording us this opportunity.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much for making sure that the residents were involved from the beginning of it, in the middle of it, and then now to the finishing line. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions for our John Sefton? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item called in was by Councilmember Orlando, having to do with the forum use permit. David De La Torre. This has to do with the stipulation on stipulation 10. Go ahead, Councilmember Orlando.
Yeah, I just wait for they get there. Hi.
Hi.
So I guess a couple of questions here. I know you've been working with the neighbors. This organization or the forum has had this permit for a couple of years now. And what's the record of complaints against the establishment over the last few years?
Through the mayor, Councilmember Orlando, I did do a police report, and there was only a couple. Every year, it wasn't very substantial.
Like what were they?
There might have been one that was noise. Due to noise, the rest were just other things such as identity theft, and I think one was violence related, but only one was noise.
So there was roughly three of them, you're saying, out of the last 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I know you work with the neighbors, and can you recall what the timeframes are again for the establishment to play the live music outdoors?
Yeah. Through the mayor, Councilmember Orlando, for the amplified music outdoors, it is forgot the start time. 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday.
So they're concerned about the 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. What are your, is that something we normally do? Is that pretty much standard?
Yeah, through the mayor, Councilmember Orlando, that is pretty standard among other entertainment use permits that we have, such as Good Time Charlie's and other ones that we've done previously.
So what I'd like to see, council, if on Thursday night is a stipulation that they will provide a telephone number that will be available to the residents. And we've done this in other locations throughout the city. But I want to make sure it's a stipulation, if the council approves it, that they will have a dedicated telephone number of who they need to call the residents and tell them, hey, it's too loud or whatever the case may be. So that it's in writing, at least, that we go back and say, hey, that was part of your stipulation, and we're asking you to comply with it.
To the mayor, Councilmember Orlando, that is one of the stipulations in there currently. That there is a contact. I believe it's number 9 or 10.
Oh, I got number 10 was just the timing, but I didn't see that. Forgive me if that's.
It's number 9, yeah.
All right, so I should have read one before. And what does that number 9 say?
Oh, sorry. 1 second. It says the establishment shall provide a contact phone number for a responsible person, i.e. bar owner and or manager, to any interested neighbors or property owners to resolve complaints quickly and directly.
Well, I'm good then. You got me there. Yes, your first time up here. Usually I'm pretty good at getting you, but you got me. I'm impressed. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Don't go anywhere.
Oh, sorry.
Councilmember Ellis.
I had been working. Someone had emailed me, and I really want.
Turn your thing on, please.
Thank you. I really want to take the time and to thank Andy for the staff working with you. And as of 11 o'clock this morning, I was still getting texts and discussing the whole thing with you. I know that based on the time that you have just given with the days, I even tried to push to see if we could look at it some more and try to see how we can redirect it. But I was told exactly what you just said, which is the standard of the industry. So we've already made all the concessions that we could. Thank you for talking with that one specific person. And I think that they were happy that we were really looking into it, but at the same time, they realized that there are certain things we could not push because it's standard. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Council, any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you.
Thank you.
And what is your name?
Oh, sorry. Darcy.
Nice to meet you, Darcy.
Hi.
We'll see you again sometime. All right, item number 18 was called in by Councilmember Stewart, having to do with IT temporary staffing.
Thank you,
Ali
Mayor.
Mahai.
Hi, thank you, Mayor. $7 million price tag. I'm always a little curious to what's going on. Can you give me a little briefing and let me know how that fits into the overall budget of IT for both police and in general?
Yes, I can. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mayor and City Council. Matt, can you help me find the presentation? This is my first time up here as well, so
Ooh,
it's very exciting.
welcome.
It's item 18. It was under, look under here. There you go. That's it. Thank you. Okay, yes, so here we go. Our IT temporary staffing. In the background, we've been using augmenting resources with temporary staffing. It's been a strategy that IT has used for several years with great success. Resources have been assigned with either operations and/or projects that we had underway. The benefits of temporary staffing include providing a flexible means to augment our staff based on our current needs. It allows us to bring in specialized expertise while fostering knowledge transfer to existing staff at the same time. It also creates a talent pipeline for hard-to-fill positions. Our request includes temporary staff resources who assist with IT operations in all of the areas mentioned here. And this would include, this would be 17 resources. It also includes project portfolio resources in the number of 14 in the areas in the projects mentioned here. Our total IT temporary staff augmentation request includes 31 resources, and it totals in the IT operations totaling $4,459,534, and IT technology portfolio totaling $2,670,000 for a grand total of $7,129,534. At this time, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you. That was thorough, and I appreciate the deep dive into the reasons why. What's the percentage of the budget that we use for temporary staffing? I know we do this in other departments as well.
I actually don't have that information, but
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Stewart, we can certainly get that for you by Thursday.
Okay.
If you'd like.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for the presentation.
sure thing.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? Congratulations, as Councilmember Orlando said, on your first time before us.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We're a hard group to talk to.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Item number 23, everybody here except me called this one in. Opioid agreements presentation. Looking for Ryan Balk to come on up. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this evening we bring before you two contracts for opioid services. This will be the first expenditure of our opioid funds that we're receiving as a city as part of the One Arizona Agreement. So tonight we have before you two contracts, each for $50,000 each for what has been termed treatment and prevention services. One is for treatment and one is for prevention. And I have with me tonight one of our providers that is the Recovery Cafe. And I would like to introduce to you Mr. Anthony Eaton. He is the executive director. And we also have member leader Addis Bennett, just to talk a little bit more about their service.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, City Council members, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. On behalf of the Recovery Cafe Valley of the Sun, I want to express our deepest gratitude for your generous funding and unwavering support. This vital contribution empowers us to continue our mission in fighting the opioid crisis here in Chandler. Your investment directly impacts the lives of those struggling with addiction, providing them with a safe, supportive community and essential resources for their recovery journey. We are committed to making a tangible difference, and with your support, we are confident that together we can foster hope, healing, and resilience within our community. Thank you for believing in us and standing with us in this critical fight against opioid addiction. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can answer any other questions you might have about these particular contracts.
Let's start with Councilmember Encinas and work our way this way.
Thank you, Mayor. I got some of my questions answered when I was reviewing the contracts. The first one, I don't have the name off the top of my head, but it's for the youth, the one that's going to be at the schools. It mentioned there's going to be 10 lessons that are going to be taking place. I kind of just wanted to know what the time frame was going to be for those, if it's going to be consecutive classes, the same group of kids, or is it going to be 10 assemblies, or I just wanted a little bit more parameters or detail about that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilman Encinas. So that contract's with Impact La Frontera Suicide Prevention Center. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here tonight because the person is sick, so she apologizes. So Impact will be using two nationally accredited evidence-based programs. One of them has 10-week sessions, and that is with a cohort of students. They are in partnership with Chandler Unified. So they will be going to particular schools and offering 10-week sessions for a cohort of students. That also, I don't know what the time frame is in terms of when each particular school will put them into play, but at each school, it'll be a 10-week course for that cohort of students. They will impact 625 youth overall. And I think one of the really neat things about this particular service is that there will also be education for the parents, which will piggyback what the students are receiving so they can reinforce those lessons at home.
Yes, okay. So 625 students. How are we going to identify the schools?
So we'll be working with Impact La Frontera to do that. They have already started the outreach because many of these extracurricular activities, if you will, get scheduled over the summer. So they have started that. And so as soon as we get into contract with them, we will start communicating with them. And if you have any particular questions about that, or input about that, we can certainly pass that on.
Okay, that's all the questions I had on my end. Thank you.
Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. You know me, I'm just about the numbers, right? The results. Let's say how I understand what it is, I understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're going to do it. Now I want to know, have they done that before, and what the percentage have that we kept out of either addiction or prevent? Because prevention, to me, early prevention is the best prevention. And so have we really done anything in that space before, or is this just something that is just being created just for us for this contract?
Thank you. So through the mayor, Councilwoman Ellis. So these are nationally accredited programs. They're evidence-based, so there is data, and there was data in their proposal. We did procure these through competitive request for proposal process. So there was data demonstrating the effectiveness of these particular programs. If you would like me to follow up with the evidence on these particular programs, I'd be happy to do that. They haven't been enacted in Chandler schools as of yet. This is our first partnership with them to bring them to Chandler schools.
We'd love to see some numbers. Thank you.
Certainly.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, can you just remind those that might be following this, why we have this money and why we're pushing it forward and who is responsible to make sure that this happens?
Yes, through the mayor and council member Stewart. So this money is part of a national opioid settlement. The opioid settlement brought in $26 billion nationwide, and we are a part of the 90 cities and towns here in Arizona that signed on to it's what we call the One Arizona Agreement, where we all agreed to certain parameters and certain services that we wanted to see activated in Arizona. So, so far to date, the city of Chandler has received about 735,000 of that. We anticipate getting our share of the funding over the next, I want to say 18 years. I will defer to the expert, who is Ryan Peters, if he's in the room on that, for some nods maybe. Yes, and Chief Twiggins. So this is just the very first piece of this funding, which are education and prevention. As staff, we, with your guidance, brought some recommendations to you, and you gave us your input and recommendations. And this is just the first thing. There will also be some other services. We will be providing sober living services for folks who are coming out of detox or recovery. We will also be providing leave behind kits for people who are found by police or fire or our homeless prevention staff to leave in the field. And then Chief Twiggins will also be standing up some services within the city, and I would defer to him to speak more about that.
Thanks for that detail. That was great. And so just to remind me, the reason we're the settlement, who was the settlement against?
So the settlement, so the big three manufacturers were Johnson and Johnson, McKesson, Amerisource Bergen, and Cardinal Health. So these are the big drug companies that make opioids, and they were sued for the negative impacts to communities. And so the first of the settlements the finalized settlement was for $26 billion against these big drug makers.
So they created a mess. Now we're getting financing to clean it up, or try to do our best to clean it up. Hey, just one comment real quick. Angel, Councilmember Encinas, thanks for really digging into this and uncovering options for us to move forward, and then empowering staff to really go out and make sure that the dollars hit the streets and the public the way they are. I just want to take my hat off to you. Thanks. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right. Council, any additional questions? Mayor, Councilmember Orlando.
Yeah, Anthony, I just want to thank you for what you're doing over there. I know Dennis was, still on the board there, but you've taken over, and you're a testament of how this program works.
Absolutely.
And I know I'm putting you on the spot here, and I apologize, but
Yeah,
you've
no
said that publicly numerous times.
Yeah.
So I certainly appreciate, I think the program's in great hands, and I know staff's been using the organization for a while now. So the long-term recovery is important here to ensure that we continue fighting this opioid efforts. So thank you for all you do.
No, I appreciate it. And it's, one of my member leaders here today came from your Chandler City Navigator program and has been with us since almost day one. And the hope and healing we're providing there is evident in myself personally, as well as him and the hundreds of members that we see every single week.
So thank you. Looking forward to a great partnership.
Me as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Next item called in, also with Ryan Balk, Councilmember Orlando, talking about our Maricopa County IGA for Housing Stability Services.
Yeah, Mayor, just a quick question. This is a continuation program we're doing correctly, and this is just additional dollars. That's all I really want to confirm.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I really wanted.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably, after talking to you earlier today, I realized this was just a continuation, wasn't a new program. So
it's not.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any additional questions for Ryan? No. All right, our last one called in, also by Councilmember Orlando for Chief Chapman, handheld narcotics analyzers. I have a question. Did you bring one with you?
I did not.
Okay.
They're not that portable.
Yes. So Chief, give us a quick background of what we're doing here and what this really does to help our law enforcement.
Sure. Through the Mayor, Council Member Orlando, these TrueNarc are drug analyzers that can be used in the field. And what they allow officers to do is verify that the substance they're dealing with is in fact a narcotic or not. And the value to that is that it allows the officers in the field to immediately confirm it. And previously we had to send all of those through the lab. And so there's this big backlog of cases that would go to court because the lab is focused on testing drugs and a number of other things. So this grant through the Governor's Office of Highway Safety allows us to purchase 4 of these to be used in our patrol divisions and out of our property and evidence. We currently have 2 that we're using in the lab and in our detective bureau right now. So this expands that program and allows for the more immediate identification of these drugs.
And I'm assuming once we get these in the street, we'll get some data points if we need to go after other ones, or, because I know you have to wait for an officer to come, I guess, transfer these are, I guess there's some logistic concerns, but at least it's a starting point.
Through the mayor, Councilmember Orlando, the other thing about this device in particular is that officers don't have to handle the substance. This is all done through laser. It can go through the plastic baggie, and previously they had to open that baggie, take it out, put it into another container. So aside from logistical considerations, there are numerous safety considerations for our employees as well.
Great. No, thank you. This was, okay, that's right. You answered my question. Thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Council, any additional questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Council staff, that's all the questions that have been called in tonight. On Thursday, we do have a public hearing and as well as a vote, as well as our consent agenda. So we'll see you all on Thursday. This concludes our meeting.